Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Dean, and today I wanted to tell you a little story. This is a story about the transformation and journey of a character as they go from the 2D world into the treacherous and uncharted territory that is the third dimension. Yeah, so back in the mid-1990s, 3D gaming was a bit of a foreign concept. Yeah, you had little experiments where companies flirted with it, like the Super FX chip for the Super Nintendo, but that never really introduced gaming to the third dimension. A good example of this is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Yeah, it was a 2D game, but the Super FX chip was designed to allow for more depth, and this sort of thing was the limit around this time. However, enter the generation of the Nintendo 64. Being a 64-bit console with more advanced hardware than what had come before, and people were really beginning to ask the question, what if? The answer to what if is one of the most painfully blissful experiences in my life. Super Mario 64. I'll get into what exactly I mean by that statement in this video, but the basic short answer is that this is a beautifully creative and magical game burdened by some very frustrating features like controls and camera, but like I said, we will get into that more in depth. This was the first true 3D entry in the Mario franchise, and my plan is to eventually hit every other 3D entry in this series I am calling the Deanie Tribune, a series where I will be specifically taking a look at games that I have personally played and that I am familiar with before creating whatever episode it is. So for instance, this is not my first time playing this game. That's beside the point though. Before we get into this game, let's get a little bit of context as for what the whole craze behind this game is. So the tale of Mario has been told to death on the internet. Video game crash of 1983 happens and Nintendo swoops in and saves the day with our favorite little red plumber and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, you know the rest. What is important to note is that around this time, games were developed for in the second dimension, meaning you moved left, right, up, and down on a two-dimensional plane. I swear I'm not trying to get all math teacher on you right now, but this is only important to understand when approaching the advent of 3D gaming. See, this whole thing of controlling where you went in any direction was kind of daunting, and Super Mario 64 was one of the first true experiments in respects to platformers as for how this would be done. Because of the limitations of how this game would work and the hardware it was on, Nintendo opted to use fewer levels with more objectives within each one, a gameplay component that would allow for this game to feel much more open-ended. As opposed to something like Super Mario 3D World, where you had a very large assortment of levels but each one just amounted to reach the flagpole, in Super Mario 64 the missions range from racing a Koopa to collecting red coins to guiding a snowball around a slide. This also allowed every level in the game to be extremely memorable. There is a good reason why so many people remember entire layouts for the levels in this game. It isn't only because they are so well designed and fun, but because you had 6 different stars in each one. Let's talk some plot real quick. Okay, I couldn't even get through that thought with a straight face. It is the prototypical storyline here. Peach bakes a cake for Mario and Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser. Also, you might be able to tell this by the gameplay, but I want to go ahead and point it out. I am using Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Switch to record this gameplay, so I apologize oh so sincerely to anyone offended by me not abiding by the original game, okay? Okay, so starting with the main menu, most of it is your typical main menu stuff, but the game allowed you to mess around with Mario's face, which is such a fun feature. Completely unnecessary to throw it in, but it is immediately important in showing the personality of this game. I already brought up the story, but once you load in, you are right there outside of Peach's castle. Probably my favorite hub area of any 3D Mario game. I do love me some Comet Observatory, but this is probably my all-time favorite above that. Right away, we get our first taste of the controls in this game, and moving in a three-dimensional space feels good for the most part. Like, there were times where it definitely felt janky, but that was absolutely to be expected with a pioneering first go-around with 3D. We also got some brand new moves Mario can do, like the long jump, backflip, triple jump, and dive. The dive in particular is my favorite. It makes me feel like I'm way better in the game than I actually am. You can even combine the dive with a triple jump to do an extra high and long dive, which I did way too much. Also, there is this kind of side flip thing, which was a blast to do. These new movements did a lot of work to offset the difficulties that came about with a 3D game. However, the biggest setback is the camera. For one thing, Nintendo answered the question of who was recording Mario this whole time with it being Lakitu. Makes sense, but then when Lakitu appears in front of Mario, who the f is supposed to be recording now? The main problem with the camera is that there were so many times where I died or failed to properly make a jump or run in the right direction just because the camera would just refuse to cooperate with me. It wasn't anything that completely ruined the game, but if I were asked what is one thing that holds this game back, That would easily be my answer. And I will go ahead and bring this up too while we were talking about controls. Controlling the swimming in this game is abysmal. I wouldn't expect it to be perfect right away or anything, obviously, but I genuinely dreaded playing any water level as a result. Alright, now let's get into the meat and bones of this game. Well, the game. So right away we are greeted by the lobby of Peach's castle, and there is only one room we are able to enter because we don't have any more stars. All that is in this room is a painting, but this is probably the coolest feature of this whole game that didn't even need to be there in the first place. The paintings are the levels. That's right, Mario jumps into paintings to go to the different levels. Such a fun way to design the game. Anyway, the first star here is Bob-Omb Battlefield, and what a way to kick off the game. I've seen people all over the internet praise this level a ton for the way it is designed, and I wholeheartedly agree. It is the perfect amount of difficulty for an intro stage to the game. This game isn't as easy as it is nowadays, and this level does such a good job of allowing you to just get used to controlling Mario in this new environment while also giving you fun and engaging objectives to complete. Also, another thing about this game that is immediately apparent is that there aren't really power-ups in the same way that there were normally in your 2D Mario titles. No fire flowers or anything like that. Instead, there are 3 new abilities that you can unlock that I'll go over as we talk about the levels. Anyway, the first star we got here involves us going to the top of the mountain and fighting Big Bob-Omb. The boss fight is really easy, which is perfectly fine since it's the first star in the game, and it really just involves you getting behind him, picking him up, and throwing him 3 times. Next, we race Koopa the Quick all the way up to the top of the same mountain. Once again, this is perfect for allowing you to just get used to quickly traversing the levels in this game. Definitely a fun mission. Star 3 has you talking to this pink Bob-Omb, which grants you the ability to use the cannons. You go to one of the cannons, the quickest one being on this rock, and you shoot to the top of this random island that is in the sky. No idea why this island is here, just chilling in the air, but it's Mario, I won't question it. You just hit this item block to get the star, simple enough. Star 4, you collect 8 red coins that are spread throughout the stage. Now star 5 is where things start to get fucky. So this involves the wing cap, one of the 3 abilities I was talking about a second ago. In order to unlock this, you need 10 stars, so you will need to play one of the other levels on the first floor first, but you will see this beam of light shine down, and looking up into it brings you to the sky stage. Doing this in real life, looking at the sun, definitely does not bring about the same results, but here it just works for whatever reason. So you immediately have possession of the wing cap and the controls. The controls are just so bad. It just allows you to fly around in the air, but man, if it isn't a blast and a half just trying to tell Mario what direction to go. You can also collect the 8 red coins here to get a free star, and once you hit this switch, all the red blocks will become solid in the levels, allowing you to actually get the wing cap. Star 5 has you going to the same floating island as before, getting the wing cap and getting these 5 coins in the air, and I f***ing hate every f***ing thing about this f***ing star. If this controlled better, maybe, but this is just dreadful. And finally, star 6, just ground pound on this little wooden rod and release this chain chomp and make him get angry and break this cage that's trapping the star. Also, all the levels have a secret star you get for collecting 100 coins, some much more harder and more frustrating than others. Here it is alright, nothing to complain about. Overall, Bob-Omb Battlefield is a really fun and enjoyable level, especially for it being the first level in the game. From here on out, you can play the levels in the game in whatever order you please. Next, I'll just talk about Womb's Fortress, aka the best level in the whole game. This level is just so fun, man. The platforming is harder than before and more vertical feeling, weird since we were literally just scaling a mountain. The first star is another boss fight, just go up and ground pound this Womp 3 times. Second star, once again, go to the top of the level and climb up this tower to get the star, simple enough. Star number 3, talk to the pink Bob-Omb, unlock the cannon, and use it to shoot into one of these pillars and bam, star. Star 4, get 8 red coins once again. Star number 5, climb this tree, get this owl, and fly up to this random cage in the sky to get the star. Yeah, there are occasionally owls in this game, which is the most random thing to add to a Mario game, but it works well enough. And finally, we got the 6th star, blast away the wall. Without further context, how in the hell are you supposed to just know what to do? In reality, you go to the cannon and blast away the corner of this random wall to get the star, but like, what? There will be plenty more examples of this, but every star is a very vague and open-ended name that most of the time barely tells you what you are supposed supposed to do. Anyway, once again, we got a 100 coin star, which is alright, nothing special. Alright, next up, let's talk about the first snow-themed stage, Cool Mountain. Spoiler alert, another insanely good level. We are now 3 for 3 for the first floor. I hope the next one carries the tradition. Alright, so kicking off this level with star 1, you go down this chimney-looking hole thing, go down this slide, and bam, star. The slide is actually not that easy. There are a couple turns that can definitely knock you out. Star number 2 is the Good Samaritan mission. Mario brings a baby penguin to its mother out of the kindness of his heart. This one is pretty nice and cute, I like it. Star 3, you go back down the slide to race a big penguin. A penguin that decides to randomly go very fast in the middle. Definitely easy to lose this race. Star 4 is our typical 8 red coin mission. Once again, just pretty fun. For star 5, you need to guide this snowball in order to help the snowman get its head back. Wow, Mario, such a good and nice guy after all. Didn't know physics worked like this, like how the snowball rolls down the hill, but you know, the more you know. Star 6 is called Wall Kicks Will Work. Very descriptive, Nintendo, thank you. You go all the way to the other side of the stage with the use of a cannon, and then you wall jump all the way up to the star. Alright, so we got off to a great start with the first 3 stages, and now it's time for everything to come to a screeching halt with Jolly Roger Bay. I mentioned how bad the swimming controls are in this game, and it mainly just boils down to how slow it feels. It is just so dreadful to deal with. Yeah, the music is great. That's why I can just listen to it while I do literally anything else that doesn't involve swimming in Mario 64. Star number 1, you swim all the way down to the shipwreck, bait this eel out of its hole, go into the hole, open these chests in a specific order, and lose health if you fail. Also keep in mind that you are still underwater, losing health since, you know, breathing is kind of an important aspect of being alive, and then you climb up to get the star. First of all, I've already said it, but I haven't gone out of my system yet. Swimming in this game. Second, there is no real indication of what order the chests need to be opened or anything, at least from what I could find, so it's just kind of trial and error. It is just so annoying when I put up with the swimming here, barely die because I'm just trying to figure out the order of the chest, die as a result, and then have to swim all the way back. Anyway, star 2 is even worse. You bait this eel out of a different hole and get the star off of its tail. Once again, you have to do this while not dying of drowning, so have fun with that, especially since you barely have any control of yourself while swimming. Very possibly the single worst star in the entire game, and by the way, it does in fact have some heavy competition, more on that later. Star 3 is another chest star. Swim into this cave and open the chest in the right order. Why? I get it that it's supposed to give you a challenge, but I am just still annoyed from the last 2 stars. Just let me blow off some steam, okay? Star 4 gives us a break from the bullshit by having an 8 red coin. Never mind, half of them are underwater anyway. Get me out of this level, please. Star 5, you use a cannon to blast onto a random pole to get a star. Thankfully, no water is required. Thank you. Star 6 requires the second ability, the metal cap. You gain the ability to unlock this in the next area of the castle, but let's just go ahead and reveal its functionality. Basically, it adds weight to Mario, allowing you to walk underwater and through currents and whatnot. So for Star 6, you get Metal Mario in this cave and walk into this upstream part to get the star. And don't even get me started on the 100 coin star. So many of the already limited amount of coins are underwater, so have fun going through an extensive scavenger hunt for coins with the awkward swimming controls. It is just so much fun. Before we move on, you can go through the door in the top right part of the first floor to go through Peach's slide. Just a simple slide level with 1 star for completing it and another one for completing it in under 21 seconds. Neither is hard to do, so not much to point out here. Alright, so finally we can go through the star door. Really, you don't need to do all these stars as you only need 8, but I'm going through the lovely process of a 100% here. So there is a bit of a level leading up to your tussle with Bowser, also having 8 red coins that you can obtain to get an extra star. Once you make it to the pipe, it is time to take on Bowser. This game has an interesting style of a Bowser fight. Basically, you get behind Bowser, grab him by his tail, and hurl him at one of those spiky bombs surrounding the arena. What? You only have to do this once, but like, wow, Nintendo. This grants access to the basement, which has an enthralling set of levels, that's for sure. First up, let's go with Lethal Lava Land, one of my personal favorites. Definitely one of the harder levels found in the game, but I had a lot of fun playing through it. For Star 1, we go to this little platform and Bully the Bully? Yeah, so this character is named Bully, and it tries knocking us off, and Mario's rational and peaceful solution is to return the favor and push it into some lava. Well, whatever, I'm sure the second star will be a bit more wholesome and positive. This time we go to another platform and push 3 little bullies and another big bully into the lava. Oh, jokes aside, both of these stars are some goofballs, that's for sure. These little circular orbs are so annoying to beat. You have to awkwardly do little jumps and time them correctly. It's just an experience, man. Star 3 is just a mundane 8 red coin mission, but it's over a rotating Bowser puzzle thing that is at least worth something. Star 4 has you going to the other side of the level and balancing on this log. I like it even though it can be infuriating at times. I don't know, it's just kind of therapeutic to me. The last 2 stars are both in this little volcano and are just fun little platforming challenges. Aside from the first 2 stars making me wish I had never touched a video game controller in my life, I thought this was a pretty pleasant level. Too bad every thing else here is dreadful. Okay, to be fair, there is one other good level, Big Boo's Haunt. This is the spooky level in the game, and I couldn't even get that statement with a straight face. This level has a piano that fucking jumps around and moves. This is just so corny, but also fucking mortifying at the same time. I remember playing this level as a kid, and I don't need the nightmares of this jumping piano to come back. Anyway, you unlock this level by going through this hallway outside, following this Boo, ground pounding on this Boo while looking away and entering this little cage, which brings you to the level. Star 1 has you entering this mansion and killing all the Boos, and doing this gets on the Big Boo's last nerve, causing it to act all tough and fight you in the lobby. Spoiler alert, this is probably the single easiest boss fight in the entire game. Next, you make your way to this merry-go-round thing, and you basically do the exact same thing with an extremely easy fight against the Big Boo. By the way, I hate this stupid basement part of the level. Star 3, you go to this little hallway room thing, hit the books in a specific order, and then you get the star. Star 4, get the 8 red coins, actually one of my personal favorite red coin missions in the whole game. I don't know why, it's just fun. Now we get to the bullshit territory with Star 5. You head up to this balcony to fight the Big Boo again, and that's not the problem. The problem is that the star spawns way the f up here on the roof. For what reason? I got it first try, thankfully, for recording the video, but maneuvering around here is absolutely awful thanks to the camera angle. Finally, you go back up to the same room that led to the balcony, get a vanish cap, and oh yeah, the vanish cap! Go back to the basement into this little room and ground pound these 2 pillars, go outside the castle into this little hole. Now you will be in this little sub area, and as with the other 3 abilities, you can get the 8 red coins for a star. Hit the switch and now you have the ability to go invisible and go through certain objects. Now you have the vanish cap. Alright, where were we? Bad swimming controls, crazy lava levels, bad roof camera angles. Oh yeah, so once you're in this room, get the vanish cap, go through this wall and run around this eyeball, causing it to implode on itself, and then you get the star. Overall, Big Boo's Haunt does the impossible task of being hilariously unscary and absolutely mortifying at the exact same time. The platforming throughout the level was pretty fun, utilizing wall jumps and balancing on little platforms, which is really cool. Okay, now it's time for some more levels for me to complain about. Shifting fucking Sandland. I don't remember why I remember enjoying this level. This was abhorrent. Right away with Star 1, you need to get the star from this bird, and just like with the eel mission in Jolly Roger Bay, I just do not like this one. Definitely did not put a smile on my face. Star 2 is simple enough. Just go to the top of the pyramid, specifically with the aid of the wing cap. Now it's time to go inside of the pyramid with Star 3, climb up a deceptively annoying platforming course to eventually get the star. Now Star 4 is so weird because you have to stand on all 4 pillars to open up the pyramid. Why? You then fight some hands by punching them. I don't know, I forgot the star was even in here, to be honest. Now we have one of the most obnoxious red coin missions in the whole game thanks to the wing cap controls. Half of the red coins are floating in the air, and good luck trying to get those efficiently. Finally, pyramid puzzle. Climb back to the top of the inside the pyramid and land on these tiny platforms to get these 5 coins. The camera definitely has zero interest in cooperating with you on this one. And don't even get me started on the 100 coin star. I barely had enough coins by the end of the star, most of them being inside the pyramid, and once you go in there you can't get back out, so you better make sure you got all the ones you could outside the pyramid before going in. Maybe I'm just bad at the game, I don't know, but I got really annoyed with this one. Now the worst part is that this isn't even the worst part, because now we have Hazy Maze Cave. This is my now I have to play this level stage of this game. I just do not like it. This level even has a map in the beginning, if that says anything about its convoluted layout. I realize it has maze in the title, just let me be pessimistic, please. Star 1, you head down here where there is this little island, and you stand on this little blue creature named Dory in order to get to the island where the star is. Star 2 takes what normally would be a type of mission that I like, that being a red coin mission, and ruins it. You stand on this little platforming thing that is absolutely horrendous and slow to control, and you have to punch these bricks to get half of the red coins, and I literally dread this. Now it's time to unlock Metal Mario to get the final of the 3 abilities. Go back to where Dory is and steer to this door, go in and go through this portal thing. Once again, get the 8 red coins in the water thanks to the metal cap. As I said earlier, allows you to walk through water and in currents. Now go back to the level, back to where Dory is, and quickly run over to this little switch and then go through this little annoying platforming area to get to the star. The next 2 stars are in this toxic maze area. Both of them you just go through a door and get the star. Nothing too bad going on here. Now star 6. What the f does watch for falling rocks mean? Obviously it's talking about the area with the rolling rocks, but tell me if the first thing you thought of was wall jumping in this random area and getting the star up here. Also, the 100 coin star of this level made me lose my mind. This is literally dreadful in every definition of the word. Dire docks, everybody. What better way to round up the basement than more swimming? This is kind of the intro stage for the Bowser level, and beating Bowser is required for completion of Dire docks. So let's just go ahead and talk about beating Bowser real quick. Same thing as before, you go through this little obstacle course with 8 red coins, this time in much more bizarre locations than before, which then leads into a slightly harder version of the Bowser fight. Bowser now is able to completely turn the arena on its side and run at you, but it still isn't too bad or anything. I know I've been pretty negative about the basement, but I really did enjoy this fight. Alright, back to being negative. Dire docks. I know people love this level and I envy them so much, but this is my absolute nightmare. Dare I say it, I'd rather be playing Jolly Roger Bay right now. Star 1 is simple enough, just swim over to the Bowser sub-ship thing. Star 2 is another stupid open up the chest in the right order star, but here it is even more obnoxious because you have a current pulling you away from them. Star 3 you have to beat Bowser first, but then you go on these pulls to get 8 red coins. I despise this star, the pulls are so slow. Now you go to this jet stream and swim through these circles, yeah whatever, compared to the other ones it's alright. Then you have to do the same thing again with a manta ray, and this time it being more annoying. Finally get both the vanish and the metal cap and go down to this cage. Also, the 100 coin star here sucks! There are barely over 100 coins in this whole level, and basically every coin in the level is obtained through one of the worst 2 modes of travel in the game, swimming and pole holding. Alright, well now it's time to go upstairs to the 3rd area of levels in the game. First up, let's go ahead and talk about Tall Mountain, which is a pretty fun one. Star 1, just as the title suggests, go ahead and scale all the way up the mountain. Star 2, do the literal exact same thing to capture this monkey, which was much more of an aggravating process than it should have been, and have it get this star out of this little cage. Star 3, get the 8 red coins off these mushrooms and little ledges. Star 4, go to the side of the mountain and hop into this random spot. Why? Now there is a slide, which was pretty fun. It almost distracts me from how bizarre getting here was designed. Star 5, just do a very awkwardly angled triple jump to this hole for a self-proclaimed great view by the level, a bit pretentious Nintendo for a level with all blue surrounding it. And finally we have Star 6, which is supposed to involve you taking a cannon to a random mushroom, but that is just way too difficult, so just jump on this propelling Shy Guy, it is way easier. Also, tip for the 100 coin star, go down the slide first, because if you wait for your final coin to be on the slide, then good luck jumping up in time to get it. Next up, Tiny Huge Island. I do not like this stage. Okay, I will be fair that thematically this is a really cool level. The whole concept of having the same version of a level where one is scaled massively and the other makes Mario look like a skyscraper is cool, but actually playing the level, no. Star 1 is called Pluck the Piranha Plant. What the f does that even mean? Specifically what I mean by that is that the title Pluck the Piranha Flower is singular, not plural, implying that we're supposed to take out one piranha plant, but it's not one piranha plant. Star 2 just has you going all the way up to the top of the mountain, which is alright. Star 3, you get to race against Koopa the Quick, which was pretty fun. I love these stars. This one is slightly harder than the one before since you go over a little bridge, but nothing too crazy. Aw, negativity, how I've missed you. Star 4, 5 Itty Bitty Secrets, is another star that is stupid. I just don't like it because you have to traverse the small version of the stage, and I find the small version wildly obnoxious. Basically, there are 5 little holes throughout the small version of the level that you are just supposed to run across, and it isn't even fun, I'm sorry. Star 5 is the obligatory red coin star where you go through this hole and you have to jump across these little platforms to get it. And finally, Star 6, you fight Wiggler, and calling this a fight is an insult to fights everywhere. Now, the 100 coin star here should be a crime. It was so annoying. No reason specifically for this, I just had a hard time doing it while recording, and yeah, maybe that is my own fault, but let me just play victim here. It's Mario 64's fault, not mine, I swear. Alright, Snowman's Land. I like this stage. It still has its fair share of dumb shit, like random gust of wind, but I had a dandy old time playing here. Star 1 was definitely not contributing to this goodness though. You climb up to the top of the snowman and then you have to scoop behind this penguin in order to dodge the wind, which is just so demeaning if you don't successfully do this. You have to chill with the bully according to the game for Star 2, which really just amounts to pushing the bully off this platform to its death. Not sure if this is how I would define chilling, but sure, we will go with it. In the Deep Freeze is a 3D maze, and thank you Nintendo for not making this another Super Mario RPG situation. Star 4 makes you use one of those spinning flower enemies in order to make it to the other side of the freezing pond to get the star. Star 5 do the same thing and get the shell to get the 8 red coins. Star 6 go inside the igloo, get the vanish cap and jump to get the star. Overall, nothing here really enraged me. Even the 100 coin mission wasn't obnoxious to get or anything. Good job, Nintendo. And what's the even crazier plot twist of the upstairs? I actually enjoyed the water stage. Well, is it a water stage because the cave music plays during it? I don't know, it's some of each. Wet Dry World has this really cool gimmick of letting you change the water level, and I don't know, man, it was just fun to jump around the platforming. With better swimming controls, this easily would have been one of my favorite levels in the whole game. Star 1 is stupid though. You were supposed to stand on these little arrow things to clumsily guide you to the star, but just long jump, it's so much easier, quicker, and funner. Star 2 makes you climb way up to the top of the level. Typically, these climb with the level stars just end up being really fun. Star 3 is another push some random blocks and hit some random item boxes mission, which is just so bizarre. I mean, it isn't hard, but like, why? Star 4 race up to this elevator thing, pretty fun. Star 5 is the infamous red coin star in this little town area that shouldn't be hard, but the camera. Oh, the camera. I also do just really like wall jumping in this game, so this star is pretty fun, despite the camera. And Star 6 just get the vanish cap in the same region and run through these walls, which probably isn't intended, but that's how I did it, and brace yourself for some more abomination of camera controls. 100 coin star, once again, is very manageable and achievable. Okay, and finally we're on the final area of the game, the 3rd floor. Let's see if Super Mario 64 sticks the landing. Okay, so we got 2 main levels here, and the first up is Tick-Tock Clock, the inspiration for only one of the greatest Mario Kart tracks of all time. I've heard a lot of people say that the other level up here is the hardest level in the game. No, it's Tick-Tock Clock, and it's not even remotely close. This level is actually goofily hard at times. Part of it just also depends on when you jump into the level, with the time that the clock is displaying affecting how quickly the tick speed of the level occurs at. Star 1, you climb up with a variety of moving platforms, and while yes, it is notably high up, we are only getting started with how high up this level forces you to go. Star 2 is a similar concept. You make your way up here to these little moving pendulums, and then you carefully maneuver your way to the star. Star 3, stand on this moving hand and very patiently wait for it to bring you to the star. Star 4 has you making your way all the way up this insanity and getting up to the top of the thwomp in order to reach the star. Nothing parallels the frustration of failing when you do make it all the way up here, by the way. Star 5, as the name suggests, you need to time your jumps on these little moving bars to get into this cage that houses the star. Star 6, as long as you make sure time is stopped throughout the stage, this is very easy and mundane. Just go straight to your right and get the 8 red coins on these little stationary bars. The 100 coin mission is the fuel that nightmares are made of. Pro tip, get the red coins first, because if you wait to do that last and your star spawns, then well, good f***ing luck getting it without dying. Conceptually, this is one of the coolest levels in the game, and while it certainly is frustrating at times, it was pretty fun, I won't lie. The camera does just absolutely adore not cooperating with you on this level though. Also, apparently there are some invisible walls found here too. I didn't really run into it while recording, but I've heard that that's a thing. The other level here is Rainbow Ride, and I just found this one way more annoying than difficult. Specifically because half of the level is just waiting on this little stupid magic carpet thing. You do need to dodge some obstacles, which isn't easy, thanks in no small part to the camera and controls, but for the most part, I was just kind of like, alright, well, when am I going to get to my location? Anyway, Star 1 has you doing exactly what I just said and getting to a floating ship with heavy wind, but of course our favorite Italian plumber can overcome that. Star 2, you do the exact same thing, but way longer as you make it all the way up to this house up in the sky, and the star is much more arduous than the last. It is not a very fun time. It wasn't excruciatingly difficult or anything, I just wouldn't say it was the most enjoyable experience though. Star 3 is pretty fun, I like this one. Get the 8 red coins and a little vertical maze thing. Being as I enjoy wall jumping and the other, well, platforming mechanics in this game, I had a pretty nifty time getting this one. Star 4, go to this other random part of the level and do some more platforming over these swinging things, another one that I did not mind doing whatsoever. Star 5 is in the exact same area, and once again, it's alright. You do have to hit a switch to make these triangles detriangulate and, well, traversable. The timer is pretty strict, but definitely doable. Finally, Star 6, wall jump all the way up here to this vertical maze section, activate the cannon, go right on one of these f***ers for what feels like 10 years, and then shoot over to this island and get the star. A bit too annoying of an experience for my liking. Definitely wouldn't let my daughter date this star. Wait, speaking of annoying stars, the 100 coin mission. You basically are required to get the blue coins for this mission. Well, technically not, but you do want to get those. And how do you do that? By basically perfectly executing a series of wall jumps just to barely have enough time to get them. As long as you get the blue coins, you are alright though. I like wall jumping in this game, but this was definitely stress inducing. Finally, before we finally fight Bowser, wow, that was hard to say, we can get 8 red coins and the wing Mario over the rainbow stage. Yeah, have fun with this one. Some vulgar and colorful language definitely crossed my mind playing this one. Basically use the wing cap and the cannons to hop between these clouds to get the red coins, and yeah, talking about this one is aggravating me enough. Specifically, f this red coin on this vine. Also, you can get 2 extra stars talking to the toads next to the tall mountain painting and the TikTok clock painting. Just a little pro tip for you. Not really a pro tip actually, I guess it was just clicking a single button. Just a little side rant by the way, why is it so annoying to try to talk to the toads? I feel like half the time I accidentally punch or jump or do literally anything that is not involving talking to them. Also, if the toads want the princess to be rescued so bad, shouldn't they be going out of their way to give me the extra star that could probably be the difference between life and death? Just saying, they aren't being all too proactive in the rescue of Princess Peach. Anyway, the final Bowser stage is just another Bowser obstacle course. Granted, this is absolutely the hardest one up to this point, which it would be kind of weird if it wasn't, and the red coins are somewhat challenging. Like, who's gonna know to check where some of these are? I don't say that in a bad way. Like, I like this star not being easy, but like, underneath the final bridge before the pipe. As for the fight, well, this is another Mario 64 Bowser fight, that's for sure. Same thing as before, but now the stage turns into a star before you finally hit Bowser enough times. That final time being way harder as you more than likely are not getting a great or ideal angle to launch Bowser at. I actually got down to my final sliver of life before actually beating Bowser, which was way too close for comfort, but a W is a W. And then we get one of the most beautiful credit rolls in Mario history. This is how you close out a Mario game. All of the goofy moments throughout the game, all the bad and all the greats, it all leads to this. Alright, so surely with how much I just complained about this game, I must hate it, right? No, not at all. I think a lot of what I don't like about this game is really just growing pains of the 3D genre. Like, these were just kind of inevitable things to happen in order to get to where we are now. In more ways than not, I look at these shortcomings and I'm more grateful for what eventually developed. I mean, remember, this is a pioneering 3D platforming game. They didn't have anything to look at and use as an example. It's easy to sit and point at the polished 3D Mario experiences later on and say that this is way cleaner and better, but I had just as much fun playing Mario 64. Sure, it had its frustrating moments, but to be fair, so does basically every other game I like too. Super Mario Odyssey has Mecha Wiggler, and I really hate that boss fight, but I still love the game. Mario Galaxy has the bubble controlling bullshit, and I still love that game. In a similar way, the strengths of Mario 64 outweigh its faults by such a large margin that it did not impede on my satisfaction whatsoever. I know this was a long trek through the entire Mario 64 game, and not every one of these videos I will be 100% completing the game, and that's not the point of the show, but here I just had to. I mean, completing this game is just so much fun overall. I over-exaggerate my points in these videos for fun, but in reality, I had a great time playing these levels. Well, as great and legendary as Super Mario 64 was, I'm sure that the next 3D Mario would just have to nail the camera. I mean, surely.